we go. Good afternoon, guys. What is going on? Just off of work, and we are getting started out here today. So, brief shop update. It looks like Greg might have jumped the gun. We are delayed slightly, a couple more days on getting into the shop. Not going to happen quite as soon as we thought, but it is what it is. Anyway, Greg, a weather report of the day. It was like 55 today. Temperature is dropping right now, but it was actually very, very nice today. But anyway, what are we doing today? The answer is right in these coolers here. And no, we are not drinking adult beverages and just hanging out and answering questions. That's right. What are we doing? We have some dry ice. Now, I found this really cool thing. It's called YouTube. You go online, you kind of watch movies on how to do things and watch people, you know, be idiots and everything else. But anyway, it's this magical place where you can learn stuff. And I learned that this sound deadening material is supposed to basically, you put the dry ice on the sound deadening material. Otherwise, you spend forever with some heat and scraping. We don't want to do that. Apparently, this dry ice trick, you put it on there, you let it freeze, and then you bang it, and it basically comes off. So we've got this panel, all that stuff up there. We're going to get vacuumed up, cleaned up, and try this dry ice thing out. Hopefully it works, otherwise we just made a huge fail video, but that is the plan for today. I got quite a bit of it. This stuff is not readily available by me, so it took quite a while to track down someplace, go get it. So we got quite a bit. We got like 80 pounds. I hope we don't need that. It's not like conventional ice where like the 10-pound bags are like pretty big. Like a 10-pound bag of dry ice is like maybe half. So we got quite a bit. I was worried that we weren't gonna have enough, but anyway, before it all melts, but let's get going. We're gonna get going. All right, so from every other video that I have seen, all you really do is place the pellets on here and wait a couple whatever, and then grab a hammer and hopefully it all comes up. So here goes nothing. Obviously you want to wear some gloves. So the other thing that we do have to do to the inside of the cab here, besides get this sound deadening material out for cage reasons, I mean, not really in the way of the cage, but I want to take it out. This stuff actually adds up as far as weight goes. We're not going to be using this seat thing here, so we have to drill out all of the spot welds for this whole entire channel. That can come up. We got to take our shifter mount out. We're going to take our little airbag module mount down there. We're going to undo the the spot welds. So we're going to undo the spot welds on that little mount, and also for that, those can come off. We're going to get those out. While we're waiting as well, we are going to take the door panels off. We are possibly going to be using the factory latches here. So just 2 bolts right there for those. Get those off, undo the door panel, and we're going to be using the latches and door handles. So we're going to take them off as well, which I will go over with you guys. First up is the Torx that's hiding down in there. It's a Torx head, and I believe it's just 1 screw and 2 screws on the bottom seam there, and that's it. Then the door panel pulls off. There's 1 up here. So 1, 2, 3. This Torx head and a bolt right there that would usually be there. The door handle, that should pop right off. So that's what we're gonna do. So last up is the Torx. This is a T40. I got it on a little extension here. Kind of have to pull the door handle about halfway up, get it seated in there, and then you can kind of come down just like that. Take the door handle off, and that's it. All right, so once you got the door panel off and that little white plastic protective thing. You can kind of see down here, this is how the door panel kind of slips in. You have little anchor points that kind of slide down into the grooves here. Right here, right here, right here, kind of pushes down. So when you go to put it back on, you really kind of got to press it up and kind of slide it down, make sure it sits in these grooves. Look at all of them. So that's why this door panel has all these pockets, and you can pull on it so hard. It's because all these plastic tabs, there's a whole crap load of them. But what we're going to be taking off is the handle assembly, the latch here. You can kind of see the inside of the door handle here. These, I think, are little 8mm bolts. There's one here. There's one deep inside here. But these, really, you kind of just got to push like that down, and these slide right out. And we'll take all that linkage stuff out of the door as well. So it's been a couple minutes. We're gonna see what kind of damage is done here and see if we can get some of this popped off. Just got this section completely done, and you can basically feel it still looks like there's some black stuff, but that's really thin stuff. That stuff will definitely come right up with a little scraper. I might actually even try and scrape some of that while it's still frozen, but worked really well. Trust me, when we did Chris Nolt's UCC truck, this took forever, so well worth the investment. I really think it's relying on the floor bouncing. The flex in the floor kind of breaks it up. You can kind of see it's definitely frozen as opposed to you know, rubberized, which it usually is, and it kind of just breaks apart. So definitely well worth it. So I can guarantee that it does work. I do think it does need a little bit more time. This smaller section I think took a little bit. This side has still yet to crack for me, but I'm gonna move all that stuff up on here to this section and go from there. Just kind of keep moving around and keep whacking away. There we have it. All of the sound deadening material out. Obviously you still have a little bit of all that scaly stuff, glue or whatever the heck it is. Wire wheel should take care of that, no problem. Also got the spot welds out for both of those little brackets, the ABS module and whatever else was attached to that. I think the bottom of the dash is attached to that one. I am going to be taking out that seat rail here. Definitely not, as you can kind of see down in here, the bottom of the floor, this is not like the absolute bottom. Everything is kind of restructured underneath with cross members, so taking this out is not going to take away from any of the cab's stability whatsoever, so don't even think that. So we're good there. Just got to drill out all those spot welds, which I'll probably save. Thing with spot welds is you can kind of see, you want to drill through about halfway and then get started. As you can see, we have one boo-boo there and one over there where we went a little bit too far, and when we went to go take off, you know, the bracket kind of pulled the whole thing all the way through. So you really only want to go about halfway. Kind of got to go by feel to kind of get that out. The key to getting them out, in my opinion, is getting them started. Once you get that first one or two popped, and the thing is, you don't want to pry against here because you will indent that way before you pop that first spot weld off. So you really got to try and yank it out and get that first one or two spot weld kind of broken off and apart, and then you can kind of leverage it and pull away, if that makes any sense. But those two are out. We'll save this one for another day. Sound deadening material is completely out. Got some of the other miscellaneous stuff in there. Now, how much did we actually use? Well, we only used about 30 pounds of that dry ice, not 80 pounds. These are so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we still have quite a bit of dry ice left, which we do not need. If you guys know anything about dry ice, you know that if you mix it with a water bottle here and tighten the cap off, it makes a little bit of a explosion. So, I mean, of course we're gonna do it. Of course. Tighten that up. Throw it over there. Fire in the hole. Any day now.
2 hours later.
Alrighty, so dry ice, a little bit of water, and tighten that cap up. Give it a while. You might want to give it a while. I'm glad I did not go to investigate that, but that set off a pretty good... Shout out to Poland Springs, man. That water bottle put up a pretty damn good fight before it let go. Inside here a little bit for you guys to see, because I feel like this would definitely help some people out here. A lot of people will paint match the mirrors and door handles on these trucks. I pretty much have it done on all of my trucks. So I explained to you how to get the door panel off the back side here. Now, like I said, the door handles, oh, this door is very... There's a stud on both of those, which I'll be able to show you guys. There's 2 studs that you need to undo the 8mm bolts for your door handles. The mirrors, sorry, I'm all over the place here. The mirrors, once you got the door panels off, are just these. I believe those are probably 8s too, maybe 10s, but there's 3. 1, 2, 3. The mirror will just come basically right off. But as far as taking the door handle off, now once you undo those nuts from the studs, kind of pull out on the door handle. I actually made this a little bit harder seeing that I undid the latch already. It's kind of putting some tension on that rod, but really all you have to do at that point is kind of take the handle off. And like I said, the rod is actually hanging down, so it's not as easy to come off. But usually these are very easy. They come right off. Basically, it'll come off like that. And what you need to do at that point is you can kind of see the 2 rods. You need to undo. You see they unclip from the side right here, and then they just pull right out. There's 1 there and 1 there, and those need to get pulled out without scratching the heck out of your door. But if this latch was still in place, these would be a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, undo the door handles, and then that latch will basically kind of fall right out of there. Just wanted to go over just real quick the handle with the rods attached to your latch, your door latch, which this would then click into your cab. The rods, as you can see, this pink one right up here, that one translates into your manual key lock right here, which if you go down, that one operates your lock mechanism, which is right here. That will basically push this kind of back and forth just like that. That will lock your door. The blue one here, the bigger rod, transfers down into this one right down here, which is kind of hard to see, but if you move, it's very hard. If you push this kind of just like that, that's what actually releases the latch and opens your door. Now, because we're running fiberglass doors, we don't really ever need to worry about locking the truck like this conventional lock would. There's no room for any of that in those fiberglass doors. We'll basically just be running this 1 handle or this 1 rod right here attached down here. You can't really tell because there's no tension on it, so it wants to move the lock instead of the actual tension on the latch release. But this other one over here is what is the rod that goes up into your door panel for the manual kind of pull up, pull down lock, the lever right there. So that's in a nutshell, that's your latch. That's what these rods do. They all basically attach with this little quick connect. As you can see, this one came off. They kind of snap in just like that. Alrighty, we are going to attempt to weigh the factory door, because this thing weighs a lot, I am sure. Almost 95 pounds. Oh man. That factory door weighs almost 100 pounds. Holy crap. So if you guys are catching up here, we are doing a full fiberglass one-piece front clip, fiberglass doors and bedsides. The doors, I think we're probably going to save the most weight. I'm assuming that the fiberglass doors per side are going to be maybe 10-15 pounds. I mean, they're literally just the shell. I don't think they have any of that in the middle. I mean, like, man, that is a lot of weight. But we actually did weigh some stuff that we took out before. So take your guesses on how much one of the rear speakers weighs. That's right, it is almost 2 pounds per speaker. 2 pounds. These little miscellaneous brackets that we took off, that were the spot welds, these together were 2 pounds. And all of the sound deadening. Now, I didn't go crazy trying to pick up every little piece. I just kind of picked up the big pieces. How much do you think that weighed? Not as much as I actually had hoped, but still weighed about 5 pounds. So definitely doing some weight deleting today. So with all the other stuff that we maybe took off the door, maybe the doors are about 100 even, maybe. But I'm saying they're close enough to 100 pounds. So I am actually starting to weigh some of this stuff. It's actually surprising. That speaker, holy crap, man. But that is pretty much where we are at this evening. Now, the last thing I do actually want to do, I spoke with Exergy, who I had both of my 12mm pumps from. I do want to get them shipped out. They sent me an email form. I'm going to ship both 12mm pumps back. I'm not sure if we are going to be using them on any of the trucks. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not comfortable using them or even selling them until I get a clean bill of health. So just so you guys know, if you want to send a pump back to Exergy, I think they go through it completely, basically redo everything. You pretty much have a brand new pump when you get it back, but it's about $200. A set of injectors, I believe. What did they tell me? I can't remember. I don't even want to say. I almost want to say the injectors were $200 to $300 for a complete 6 set. So we still have our cylinder head off of this engine, which I'm not really sure what to do with. We're not going to be using. I've thought about taking the D&J side draft off. That's set up for a 5.9 fuel rail and a 5.9 intake. I might take that off. All the hardware's there. This head is actually still good, which I would actually part with the entire head. It just needs one valve replaced. There's nothing wrong with the backside on it. I'd be open to offers on that, keeping the springs in it. With all it really needs is just a new valve on the one side. But the only issue is the upgraded bigger valves in this make it only compatible with a 6.7 standard 6.7 bore truck. Well, oversized as well then. A 6.7 bore truck. So it's got a 5.9 manifold, intake manifold on it. It's got a 6.7 bore. So really this can only be kind of sort of used for like a 6.4 configuration or a 6.7 application. But again, it's got a 5.9 intake manifold on it. So I could separate the intake manifold off and then sell the other head. I mean, it's got really nice expensive valves in it, the Hamilton valve springs, and there's really nothing wrong with the backside of this head. And I would sell it as is. I mean, nothing when the engine went, it didn't touch a damn thing in the cylinder head, which is kind of crazy. But really the only thing in cylinder 5 is you can kind of see this valve is just tweaked ever so slightly, but I'm not really sure what to do with it. But we're going to pull the injectors out of it, which they should basically just pull right out. Alrighty, injectors out. They're going to be sent off as well. Clean bill of health. I'm pretty positive those are going to be 100% for sale. Those are 450% over Exergy injectors. They'll be gone through. Clean bill of health before those go for sale. Hey guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. I'm sure you guys know what it's going to look like, me wrapping up boxes and taping them up and getting them sent off. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna finish off, I'm gonna clean up outside, package that stuff off, send it off to Exergy, and that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. That is the progress for this evening. I was actually in the new shop today. There's still some stuff in there. We were looking at some of the electric and the lighting and the outlet situation. So even though it is a temporary setup, we are definitely gonna need to do some electrical work. So, which brings me to my next point. If any of you guys are somewhat local and wanna help out a brother with some electrical work, you know, send me a Facebook or Instagram message. Instagram maybe a little bit better, or an email. My email is always down in the description. But we're gonna need to do some electrical work. There's not a whole lot of outlets in there, and the lighting in there is probably worse than before we even put the lights in this garage. It's pretty bad. The ceilings are really high, the lights are pretty dim. So even when we first move in, it's gonna take some rehab. So we're definitely gonna need to do a little bit of painting, things like that. So it's coming, guys. I was in there. The space is awesome. It just needs a little TLC. It's got a bathroom in it, so it's a nice spot. It's a very nice spot. So anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow. Maybe not. Tomorrow? Tomorrow? I'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.